I just watched a deer mama and a deer baby walk down here. I saw them from the house. It was so cute. Wow. April gave me an amazing gift, the last snowstorm of winter. Walking around that unexpected fairy tale was something that I truly had been hoping for. I spent a few days just walking around the forest here, and during that time I pretty much finished all the food I had in the house. Throughout winter I've been very careful about having enough food in the house in case I got snowed in. I don't have a car, so if the roads are too snowy or icy, I would have to walk into town to get my groceries. I think by now everybody probably knows how much I love the snow. I am so excited about getting more in April. This first winter here in Sweden, I always made sure to cycle to the supermarket the day before snow was promised, but I always managed to stretch my supply long enough to last until it melted again. This time, I didn't expect the snow to stick around very long, so when I ran out of food, I decided to make chapatis for the first time. It only requires some flour, water and oil, and yes, it kind of ruined my frying pan in the process, but it was surprisingly tasteful. Sometimes I like running out of food because I end up making the best meals using ingredients I wouldn't normally put together, so trying something new was really fun. I actually bought so much flour into the house before winter, imagining living this wholesome life in the forest, baking bread. But my renovation has been all-consuming, and apart from yogurt cake, I never baked anything. This is really good. I wasn't expecting this to actually taste good. During these days, I didn't do any renovation on the house. All my projects at the moment require a lot of sanding, and I prefer to go outside for these jobs. So I just enjoyed the snow and waited for the weather to change again. During this time, I became so aware of the fact that when you're renovating and you're on your own, when you take a few days off, really nothing gets done. And obviously taking time off is really important, but it does feel a little discouraging when you get back to work and everything is exactly how you left it. When you do nothing, literally nothing happens. And sometimes I feel really excited to get back to work after a few days of rest, and sometimes it makes getting back to work feel like such a huge task. This is a fairy tale. It's a fairy tale. Being in between two seasons also makes it feel like you're just waiting for something new to happen. So when the birds came out one day and I heard their song and watched so many of them pick things out of the grass, it felt really good to get going again. I'm still working on a toilet room. I really hope to finish it as its own little completed project. This tiny little can is the Congo that I showed you a while ago. One of the testers that I sampled, which I really liked. It's like almost like a black stain, and I'm going to use it for some of the detailing. This little thing is about 20 euros. It's time to make the toilet room prettier. Yesterday I stained all of these slats. They're all going on the edges and around the window in the toilet room. I have this little reference image so I don't forget which one goes where. So I'm excited about this because this is going to make the room feel a lot more finished. I did forget about this unit, so I have to cut some of the longer ones to fit around it. How's that? It's all good. Woo. It's 2 hours later. I did, I don't know, lots of little bits which you can't see. But I'm finally ready to actually put up these little slats. I finally put all the trim pieces around the room, and this week I began work on the door. I'm making the door frame and the door myself. I actually planned to buy a finished one from the hardware store last summer when my parents were here, but in the end I didn't, and the hardware store I ended up purchasing all of the materials from for winter didn't have any doors cheap enough. So I decided to just go for it and try and make one myself. I am really hoping that this is going to turn out okay. So if you're wondering why I am pre-drilling my nail holes, which nobody in the world does, it's because I am 100% incapable of punching in nails without, like, I literally can't do it. If I was renovating a house pre-screw era, I would probably be doing my hair right now and finding a husband. Just kidding. I'd be living in a tent somewhere which doesn't need screws or nails. Right. I don't know why this took all day. Why would it take all day to do this? But it did. Do I like this? I don't know. Who knows? I need to figure out what to do with the ceiling. I might paint it white. It's raining and it hasn't rained in a while, but there's all of these tiny birds picking in the garden. That's so cute. Look at them, and there's more. I'm making a door for the toilets. It's going to be really simple, not the way you're supposed to make a door. Yeah. I'm just gonna make the frame, like the internal frame for the door, and use these little brackets to fix it. I don't know. We'll see. I have to admit that sometimes it is quite difficult to accept the fact that the way I'm building things right now isn't the way you should be building things. But I just have to get over that, because otherwise I wouldn't be building anything. I've been feeling so deflated. So much work, so little progress, and then whenever I do kind of finish something, it kind of looks like crap. Because everything I do is cheap and cheerful. Also, these leaves. All of these leaves that fall during autumn. I genuinely thought that they would just kind of like disappear during winter. That, you know, the wind just blows them away. Which isn't true. And I guess that's why people actually get rid of them. So that makes sense now. That makes sense. But how do I do that without tools? That's the big question. Another job, another task. I feel so sorry for myself. I really don't. Just kidding. So, this is my door. Yeah, that's all I have to say. I want to make sure that it's straight in this opening, as opposed to straight compared to something that's really straight. Because it's probably not. So I don't know whether using these brackets actually caused more issues. I'm going to start fixing the wood to this side. So yesterday was good. I know I was feeling a bit deflated, but I actually ended up just taking it really easy and just I did everything really slow, not thinking about everything else that I need to do on this house. And I'm really happy with how it's going with this door. So I have this side finished, and today I'm going to attach a doorknob, make the other side. So currently this is what that looks like. I'm going to put in another like cross brace. I'm actually going to insulate it just for like noise reasons. Obviously it's a small house and I do live on my own. You know, I do want it to be comfortable in case I have visitors. You know, it is a toilet after all. I have very cheap woods for this side, for the inside. And I was thinking about painting it the same kind of black stain that I have on the inside of the room, but it's very expensive. So instead, I'm actually just going to paint it green. I don't usually want to ruin real woods by painting it, but this is cheap woods. And the cuts that I received from the company are also just like the worst cuts you can get, so it's not pretty. They are the bad cuts. This is actually the wood that you use on roofs. So this is a roofing material and it seems to be about the cheapest like tongue and groove type wood that you can get. I'm just going to paint this with the wall emulsion that I already have. So I'm curious to see how that's going to pan out. I might sand it just a little bit more. It's really rough wood. I actually really like this edge. It's too bad that I'm painting over it. The wood just isn't consistently nice enough to keep it. I have a couple of very exciting little accessories for this door. I found this doorknob, which I think is absolutely perfect. When I was first thinking about designing this space, I actually wanted to use like little black T-bar doorknobs on like all the doors and cabinets, but then I saw this and I think it's just so cute. It's a very light pink and I don't even like pink, but I think it just goes really well with the light brown stain. It gives it this like very quirky detail. And as a door closer, I'm actually going to use, instead of putting in like a normal door with all of the door hardware, which seems just overly complicated for me right now, I am going to use this little cabinet door stop. So when it comes to hinges, unfortunately I bought these, which are massive. They're the same ones I used for the little water pump house, but they actually don't fit the design of this door and they're very bulky. I was going to use them anyways because I bought them. I think I'm going to buy different ones. I like these. I got these for the cabinets, but they're too small. I might just get similar, you know, basic hinges, but a size up for this door. I recut this one. This has slightly better fits. Cool. I wonder if I should screw these down from the top. Screws. Okay. Look at me using glue for the very first time. I feel very professional. See, this is why DIY is so frustrating, because you just end up with gaps. Gap, 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 uneven. Everything is a gap. I had a giant bumblebee inside. I feel like today is the first really peaceful day. Just listen to that. It's time for a walk, I think. It only took a few days for the weather to change completely. Suddenly I felt spring. Something different was in the air and it gave me such a restful feeling. It really calmed me and helped me to just focus on the small tasks I had in front of me instead of worrying about everything else I still have to do. I'm not usually a spring person, but it really felt different here. It's interesting because I love autumn, and the sweetness of spring has always given me almost a nauseating feeling. There's something about it that I can't quite put my finger on. Maybe I've always felt there's something insincere about feeling uplifted just because nature around you is changing and the temperatures are rising. But this time I'm right in the middle of it, and having lived through a real winter and been outside so much more than I would be if I was back in London, I'm really experiencing the seasons and having to adjust my life in accordance to the weather for the first time. Not just, putting on a few blazers on top of each other and running to the tube to get to work and being comfortable again in a heated space, but instead I have to go outside to use the toilet first thing in the morning, and throughout the day I cook in a kitchen where the temperatures are literally freezing. I cycle into town when the roads are clear so I can get my groceries. I guess it's the first time I've really lived in nature, and it's the first time I'm changing along with the seasons. I guess you could say I feel more harmony with the seasons and the weather, and it's a huge part of my experience nowadays. Actually, I would say it is most of my experience. To be honest, I don't even think it was all that warm this week, but I think living in the forest makes the weather very pleasant. Coming from the UK and the Netherlands, I'm used to icy winds, and having all this forest around me, it takes that harshness out of the weather. Even with just a little bit of sun, it already feels entirely different here. I know insulating a door isn't really what people tend to do, but I just want to make sure that that toilet is its own room and it's like soundproof and whatever proof you need it to be. It's a bit messy. I mean, look at these pieces. But that's okay. I'm realizing that painted cheap woods definitely looks a little bit more rustic than I intended for my interior. I thought I would show off this door in the morning light because it's almost finished, but it's not attached yet. I thought I would end with a few comments on this door in case anybody wants to make their own door. I would absolutely advise you to make a door and a door frame the standard way. I was obviously being creative by having this design detail, this frame sticking out, but it means that everything else becomes a lot more difficult. Basically, I can't use any normal butt hinges. I should really be using a concealed sus hinge or a pivot hinge, but they are extremely expensive. Basically, they're outside of my budget and they are also very difficult to install. With the way that I made this door, I don't even know whether I could still install those retrospectively. So I'm going to have to use normal hinges and it's not ideal. I also completely overlooked the fact that I want this face to be flush with the wall, and I was aligning certain other things within this door frame. Yeah, the thickness of the door means that this sticks out a little bit, but yeah, reality. So we'll see what it looks like when it's actually installed. I need to find some hinges and install those. Hopefully it works. I'm really scared about the door not being able to swivel out and getting stuck. We'll come to that point when we have all of the bits to actually install it. I thought I would make use of this morning light because this is north facing, so there's no direct lights. It's just in the mornings that you get like this glimmer of light.